What's up? It's your girl Trueyyyp, and I'm going to be doing a review on my favorite TV shows from the 90s. Mainly from the 90s and early 2000s, but I might do some other reviews as I go along. So this little segment series is going to be called As an Adult. I'm doing one of my comfort shows, Moesha. It's a lot of people that don't like this show, but I don't care. We're going to go back and talk about everything. So Moesha season 1 episode starts off with Brandy dancing in front. So I'm looking at my notes, so don't mind me looking back and forth. Starts off with Brandy dancing in front of the fountain in her signature braids and a neon shirt with checker suspenders. Then it shows her playing football, running around town and hanging with friends and admiring boys. Then it ends with the final dance move and her name in purple letters plastered on the screen. Then, okay, so Mo is a writer. She likes to write. She's going to be a journalist. Well, she aspires to be a journalist. So she writes in her diary or her journal daily. So she usually starts the episode off with a diary entry. She'll write it through the show, and then she'll end it with a diary entry. So what she says is, they say the first love is the perfect love. Something I won't know for 2 more months because my Amish father won't let me date or use electricity until I'm 16. What's the difference with this huge zit on my face? No boy will want me anyway, at least not one worth writing about. Dee told her to put toothpaste on it, apparently, because she thinks it should be cavity-free and dainty fresh. Then she says, is getting in my business a part of the stepmother description? I like it when it was just me, Miles, and Dad. So basically, she lost her mother a couple years back, and she's still grieving, obviously. You know, she's 15 years old. She lost her mother, a big part of her life, and she's still adjusting to living without her mother. Then her father goes and marries somebody from her school. So, you know, even though we have some type of organization and authority in the school, that's still like our little freedom time, especially if there's a lot of programs and, you know, you involved in a lot of stuff, you popular. You might not act the same way that you do with your friends if your dad is there in school. Like, you kind of straighten up, like you know what I'm saying? Your parent being there just get you together. So Dee being married to her dad, any little thing she does, she's gonna go tell her husband. And now he's gonna come back, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, she could have did that anyway, because it says that she's a teacher, but later on we learn that she's the principal, or she becomes the principal. So, but then she, in a couple episodes, she did teach. So I don't know. I've never known any of my principals to be a principal and still teach, but I guess that's what they did. Where she went to Crenshaw High School, by the way. So it goes to the next morning. She ends up oversleeping. Then she runs downstairs and, you know, apologizes for oversleeping. And she tries to hurry and cook her dad and Miles some breakfast, but Dee already did it. Then the father adds, or Frank, and it ain't half bad either. Dee chimes in and says, well, when a woman gets up at dawn and goes to the 7-Eleven and plows through guys with squeegees yelling, hey, baby, can you help a brother out? Breakfast isn't half bad. It's the bomb. Like, how dare you see me put in all this effort just to tell me it ain't half bad? Nigga, please. Yeah, I'd be offended. So Mo interrupts and says, excuse me, Huxtables, and asks, why didn't someone wake her up? Then Dee explains, you make breakfast every morning. You know, I just wanted to give you a break. So then Mo tries to take the plates and I guess throw it away or put it away so she could remake the breakfast. And Dad, like, if you touch my plate, you're going to pull back a nub. So then Hakeem, their neighbor and Mo's childhood friend, walks through the door. And he sits down and eats breakfast like he tends to do with each meal. Because his mom works 3 jobs and he just got accustomed to eating with the Mitchells, because he's right there. I think he lived a couple doors down. So, and then they walk to school together. So it's only right I come over, get the grub, and then I probably gonna eat again in school, whatever. So D gives him the plate or whatever, and he starts giving Frank his props on how he put a good spouse and when they could throw down in the kitchen. Mo is hating, so she starts kicking him and telling him that he has an itch to get him to shut up, because it's like, you supposed to be my friend. Why are you over here giving this new bitch, okay, props? Like, I don't cook you breakfast every morning. Every time you come here, I don't cook you breakfast. Now you acting like this the best breakfast you ever had. Which her eggs were probably a little bit dry, and she didn't put the butter mixed in with the syrup like D might have. But she did what she could. So then Frank, he runs a car business. So he sells cars. Saturn, brother Saturn. He says that he's going to be working late because today is Midnight Madness, where I guess the car's going to sell or something like that. And he says if he sells enough Saturns, then they could get the house in Beverly Hills that he wants to get. But they live in Leimert Park. I thought they lived in Ladera Heights, but it's 2 black neighborhoods, by the way. And Leimert Park is predominantly black neighborhood, middle class. I don't know. People assume because it's a lot of black people in the area that it's a hood area. But we have a bunch of middle class areas that's not hood. Might be hood adjacent, but it's not hood. You know what I mean? Like, we still got neighborhoods that we upkeep and take care of. So that whole narrative that all our neighborhoods is run down and the houses are dilapidated, okay? But anyway, they're doing pretty good for themselves. You got D's a principal. Frank, sells cars for a living. He owns his own shop. So they're doing pretty good. So Hakeem gets on him and he says, you're going to have to sell Saturns from here to Saturn if you think you about to. Don't nobody want no Saturn, but Saturns are, when they still made them, because they stopped making them, they're pretty good cars. If you take care of it, good cars. But anyway, D chimes in and says, well, if anybody could do it, my baby could do it. And then she's about to say, give me some good luck sugar or whatever. Then Mo, again hating, interrupts and asks if she can go to the den. The den is like a kiddie lounge that's ran by Endel, who will later be introduced to. And basically it's like a spot where kids from the area, despite the gang culture, they say that Leimert Park is very rich in African American roots and art. So I would love to go visit Leimert Park as an adult. I don't know how I'm gonna get there because I don't want to take no planes. But anyway, so Mo asks if she can go to the den, and D says, Moesha, it's a school night. And Frank cuts D off and says, who's gonna be there? Mo says, just a couple friends. Frank said, friends like who? Are they made of sugar and spice and everything nice, or rusty butts and one-track minds? So corny. And then Mo says, both. I'm going with Trina and Kim. And he was like, I was about to let you go until you said Kim. So Kim already starting off with a bad reputation, which is like, your daughter is involved in it. So why? I hate parents that want to blame all the kids around their kid, except for their kid, and their kid be the biggest culprit sometimes. I was that kid sometimes. But my parents never gave me the benefit of the doubt. If I was hanging with them kids that was doing bad stuff, I was doing the bad stuff. So Frank, in his mind, thinks that he's perfect. So he expects the same from his kids, and especially his daughter. So Mo pleads and says, please, they just my homies. You acting like I'm going on a date or something. So he says, you better not, because you ain't allowed to date till you 25. She says 16. He said 21. She said 16. He said 18. And I'll throw in the Saturn. She says 16 and I'll be walking. Then she says, if you pick up some sausage, I'll fix you a good breakfast tomorrow. He heads out, tells Hakeem not to be in the house, gives Miles a dap, and then gives D a kiss. D tells Miles to get ready so she could bring him to school. Moesha offers to walk Miles, and Miles looks at her and says, do I look like a dog to you? Dee offers Moesha and Hakeem a ride, but Mo insists on walking so she could sarcastically walk off those blueberry pancakes that Dee prepared. Dee says, okay, fine, and tells her that dinner is at 5:30 and not to be late and leaves. Hakeem gets mad because why would you deny us a ride? We don't want to walk. I don't know how far their house is from the school, but I'm sure it was, probably like maybe 30 minutes. I don't know. But Mo says it's bad enough that she teaches at our school. We don't have to ride with her too. Like, dang, like, can you relax? So she says, I take my dad to one parent-teacher night and I wound up living with Mary Poppins, which is kind of a compliment. So she says she been living here for 1 month and taking over, and Hakeem asks, taking over what? And Moesha says, cooking, breakfast, driving people to school, and sleeping with her dad because she heard him. Girl, like, mind your business. They newlyweds. What you think they gonna be doing? So Hakeem says, you tripping, and Dee is cool. Moesha says, you don't understand. This is her house, and she's been taking care of everyone for the last 3 years since her mom died. Cooking and cleaning, raising that knucklehead Miles. And she added that she raised Hakeem as well. And Hakeem responds with, you always trying to be somebody's mother. Just like when we was younger and we were playing house, you had to be a mother and I had to be the son. He was like, and I never got to play the dad. And then Mo says, let's pray you never do. And then Hakeem says, that's the problem with the black woman, always dogging out the black man. And then says, that's why y'all are driving us to the blondes. And then Mo smacks him in the back of the head because I don't see why they had to add that in there. Like, they was on that bullshit for a long time. So the next scene, they at the den. Mo walks in, and then Dell, who's the owner of the den, offers to make Mo a strawberry celery smoothie. Never heard of that, but she says, she asks Andell if it's good for the skin because the zit that she got her mugging like the Crypt Keeper. And then Dell says, I was just going to ask you who your friends was. He's just waving. And they laugh or whatever. So, and Dell ends up giving her the same advice that Dee did, which was to put toothpaste on it so it'll dry out. Then Mo asks if Andell ever been in love. And Andell replies, I've been in it, around it, through it, and even to the bank with it. That's when it went too far. Moesha then asks, how does she know it was real? And Dell says, well, when I was your age, if it was real, I got butterflies. Then later on as she got older, it was real if a man offered to pay her rent. Now, it's real if she's willing to pay the rent. And Moesha says, forget that, I'm not paying any boy's rent. And Dell said, that's right, so maybe you should go with butterflies. Moesha agrees. Because, baby, we got enough trouble paying our own damn rent. Who rent we paying? Who rent we paying? But back in the day, rent was cheaper. Inflation is crazy now. Okay, so Mo goes to sit with her friends and announces herself. Everybody's saying Moesha, trying to get her friends' attention, but her friends too busy trying to mac on the niggas. They just talking and blushing and laughing and doing what teenage girls do. So Kim tells her to sit down because they trying to do they big ones. So some guy walks through and Kim says, check out the booty on that cutie. And then Mo says, how can you tell he's wearing pants 2 sizes too big? And then Kim says, yeah, but he's wearing them down his knees. And notice Hakeem walked through the door. He glowed up over the summer, so the girls don't recognize him, but Mo does because she see him every day. So she says, what is y'all tripping over? It's just Hakeem. And Kim says, well, he must have stepped into a phone booth or something because last year he was Clark Kent, but now he's Mo better like Wesley. Then Kim asks Mo to call him over and says, so Mo calls him over to the table. He comes and he says, hey, Mo, I see you hang with the 3 Live crew. And then Kim starts being obnoxious. You know how girls start getting extra when the niggas come around. So Mo tells Hakeem that Kim wants to talk to him, and Kim starts tripping over her words. And then asks him if he's trying out for basketball since he's all fine and everything now. The girls laugh and he gets embarrassed, so he walks away. Then Mo's French classmate, Taylor, sees Moesha and comes to chat with her. They start talking about how hard the French test was, and they start speaking French to each other and laughing and stuff like that. So Kim is like, you know how them girls be getting when they get obsessive over their friend. They see another little thing and they like, who is that? So that's the kind of vibe that Kim was giving. Kim says, excuse you, Madam Fifi, but you're blocking my view with Chocolate Thunder, a.k.a. Hakeem. Then Taylor responds, well, it looks to me like you had enough chocolate. Damn. Here we go with the fat phobic jokes already. Like, and Kim wasn't even that big. I was Kim's size in school. And I thought I was fat back then, but now that I'm actually fat, I look back at my old pictures, I'm like, I wish I would have appreciated that body more. Because, yeah, people are weird. But if you're not skinny and blonde and all the things, that's just how America treats you. They don't view voluptuous, brown-skinned, dark-skinned women as beautiful. They just don't. And it sucks. Back when Countess Vaughn, which is the actor that played Kim, knowing that she was going through that at that age, like she was going through weight issues and stuff like that, and people clowning her about her weight in real life, it's just messed up. It's weird. Like, I don't know. And also knowing that her and Brandy behind the scenes was beefing a lot of the time, because Brandy, if you know, you know. There's a lot of Brandy stands out here, and I love Brandy as well. I grew up with her, all the things. But they said Brandy was a little mean girl back then. So, you know. So Kim was about to get up and confront Madam Fifi, but they held her back. And Moesha said, Kim, she's just playing. No, y'all playing with me. The fuck? Kim says, I don't play like that. Plus, my mama just said it's just baby fat. And then Fifi says, no, it's just fat, baby. And Kim tries to get up again. Fifi walks back to her friends. Her friends hype her up, and then they look back at them all stinking stuff. Then Kim asks Mo if she thinks she needs to lose weight. Mo makes this weird face like she wants to laugh, but it was just weird. So she was trying to be funny, and to know that she might have been doing this behind the scenes in real life too, it just pisses me off. Still love this show though, but I'm gonna pop my shit when it needs to be popped. So Mo, after she makes the weird face, she says, girl, you got a cute face, like trying to be sarcastic. And Kim looks disappointed while Niecy and the other friend laugh. Kim should have been got a new group of friends, but she was trying to see it through. So Ohaji, Mo's crush, comes and greets the ladies at the table, and he says, hope to see them later because he'll be reciting one of his poems around 8. So Kim asks him, what does Ohaji mean? Young black guy? He says it means conquer the warrior or something like that. Kim says, ooh, I surrender. Then he goes to Moesha and asks for the notes to English class. He says, can I borrow them? And she says, no, it's may I borrow them? And no, you can't. He responds, it's like that, huh? So Haji says, I'll be over there. You can't. And then says, I'm sorry, you may sit your can't on my lap and watch me. If you're afraid, I'm going to steal your precious notes. Mo says, I wouldn't sit on your lap if you were Santa Claus. Kim says, I would, and I've been real naughty, and gives him the look. Now, Kim. At this time, Kim supposedly doesn't know that Mo has a crush on Ohaji, but damn. Read the room, Kim. So, Kim asks Mo what's going on with her and Ohaji, because she finally reads the room. And she says nothing, just educating the masses. Then the scene goes to them walking, holding hands in the park, sitting on a bench, laughing. The music stops and Ohaji says, it's our 1 week anniversary of us creeping around, right? Ought to be a teen. Ought to be a young teen and think that you found somebody that you in love with. Then Mo says, 7 days, 5 hours, and 22 minutes of my father knowing about absolutely nothing. Ohaji says he wrote a poem in honor of their secret love titled Secret Love. I dream of your sweet kiss, soft, warm, and gentle. Your eyes closed, your lips next to mine, as Mo tries to kiss him. He says, are you okay? She says, I was just visualizing your words are visual all sorts, and then they kiss. The audience does what they do, be extra, saying, woo, in the audience, and Moesha asks how much is his rent. Starting off bad. Then they get back to kissing, and it gets more sensual. The next scene, D is talking to Hakeem on the phone and asks if he sees Mo to call him. So then, we assume Hakeem asks if D saved him a plate, because she responds, yes, I saved you a plate, and your mother too. She says to Frank that she's worried because Mo is out and she's an hour late. And it's the 90s. They ain't have phones like that. If you did have phone, you was popping. If you had a beeper, you was popping. But a lot of kids still didn't have that stuff. So Miles says he's worried too, but then says, can we eat? Like, he's hungry. Like, I know she's not here right now, but I'm hungry, so can we eat? So Frank says he's going to drive around and see if he could find her. Mind you, Frank doesn't look too concerned. Then Mo comes dashing through the door, and Miles says, ooh, you're in trouble. And Mo stuffs a piece of broccoli in his mouth. Frank asks, where you been? She said she was kicking it with friends. Then she said, Dad, you know how it is. You could teach us how to tell time, but you can't make us wear a watch. So then D says, you going to have to come up with something better than that. Like, girl, who you think you fooling? Then Miles adds on, yeah, much better than that. You playing Dad and D like a sucker. Then Frank calls Miles' name. D was going back to talk to Mo, and Frank cuts her off and says, Mo is fine. That's most important. Now let's eat. D calls Frank into the other room. D asks why Frank keeps coming in between her and Moesha. She says she can't say one word without him jumping in, which is true. And if you're going to marry somebody, do you want them to help you parent or not? Like, that's weird. You got kids around that you just want to be the only one to do the parenting. When they do stuff they're not supposed to do, you don't say nothing. But when they do stuff you don't like, then that's when you want to discipline them. It's ass backwards. That's how Frank is, though. He don't care what she do, but as soon as he starts feeling disrespected and he feels like he got to step in, that's when he steps in. So she says she can't say one word without him jumping in. He asked her when. She says, like this morning when Moesha asked to go to the den. He says, honey, you didn't say anything. She says, that's because you cut me off. Every time she tries to say something, and he says, while cutting her off, D, you're exaggerating, minimizing her feelings. She said, you did it again just now with your Christopher Darton jumping in. So he jokes and says, why do I have to be Christopher Darton? Why can't I be Johnny Cochran? So I'm guessing Christopher Darton was a lawyer. He says, why can't I be Johnny Cochran? At least he has most of his hair. And he's joking and laughing, but Dee's being serious because she feel like her feelings aren't being considered. And she's not being considered as a parent, which is still going to take time because they're still getting to know. I mean, Miles seems like he's warming up good to her, but Moesha, like, nah, I'm not feeling it. Excuse me. But anyway, Dee says her and Mo are never going to be able to establish a relationship if he keeps coming between them. And that's true. Because every time a conflict occurs, she just going to go to the dad. He just going to brush it off, and that's not cool. You don't want to be married to somebody like that. But y'all about to see how much of a piece of work Frank is for real. Then she says it's making me feel like an outsider. So when Frank gets close to her, it says, well, it's been difficult the past 3 years. He's had to be the mother and the father. And he asks her, how can I fix it? And then she says, no, not you. We. It's supposed to be 50-50. And he says, is this a real 50-50? Or is it like the 50-50 that has me sleeping in the pink canopy bed? And D is like, you said you like that bed. He said, no, I like what we do in that bed. Now, I've never been married to anybody. But if you're married to a man, why would you get a pink bedspread? You're supposed to get a neutral color for both of y'all. No man wants to lay in no pink bed, even though it don't mean nothing sheet to sheets, but still. I don't know. If the whole bed is just like pink pillows with hearts on them and stuff like that, come on, D. You could have, if it's like black and it got like a strip of pink, okay, that's something. But he said the whole thing is pink, canopy. Like, be for real. So D says, you could forget about all that after he says, I like what we doing that bed. And Frank is trying to pull her back and says, no, I like the bed. I like the bed. And then they laugh. And then Frank says, I want your help with the kids. So do your thing and I got your back. So they go back into the kitchen. Moesha asks if she could be excused. Frank says, well, he has to go back to work and ask D. Mo is pissed because she like, D about to give me a hard time, which is not really a hard time, but she's going to make sure she does the things that she was asked. And it's not nothing that serious. She just asked her to eat her food. But I don't like this. Frank tries to give Mo a kiss on the cheek and she like turns her head like that. Like, don't try to kiss me, nigga, after you just told me to ask this wench if I could leave when you knew that you was going to let me go anyway. So I don't know why you trying to make it difficult for me. Anyway, Frank says he'll be back after midnight. And Mo asks D if she could be excused. D says after you've eaten your dinner. Mo says, I'll just grab something at the den. D says, no, eat what I prepared. Mo says she doesn't have time. She has to go get dressed. D says, okay, after you finish your dinner. Mo says, what's the big deal? My dad did say that I can go. D says, again, after you finish your dinner. Mo says, you can't tell me what to do. D says, excuse me, and Miles repeats her. Then they both look at Miles, and then D looks back at Mo and tells her, I'm not going to have you talking to me like that. Mo says, I just want to go to the den. Like, why you tripping? D says, well, maybe you'll understand clearly after you've spent some time in your room because as of right now, you're on punishment, bitch. So this is my thing. I hate when people force their kids to eat. If your kid does not want to eat, you're going to take the food, wrap the food up. When they get hungry, you give it to them. But since they don't want to eat, they can go to bed. Have them drink the rest of their juice and send them on their way to bed. Mo is at the age where she knows what she wants to eat. And she doesn't need anybody to tell her what she has to eat. What D should have said was, okay, you don't want to eat, put the food away. Wash the dishes, then you can go upstairs and get ready. Problem solved. Why you forcing her to eat? She don't want to eat what you cook. Get over it. D was doing too much. She was trying to assert her dominance, and she should have just gave her the chores to do, and then that would have been that. You can't force nobody to eat. I don't care if you prepared dinner. I don't want it, so I don't want to eat it. My dad already told me I could go. So what I feel like D should have did was just gave her a couple chores to do. And even that's doing too much. But if she felt like, D felt like she wanted to give her some responsibility and forcing people to eat, I don't think that we should do that. Period. I don't like that. Don't force nobody to eat that they don't want, if they don't eat, especially if they said they're not hungry. She said she want to get a smoothie at the den. Let her do that. She don't want your food, D. So the scene goes to the den. It's a bunch of kids hanging out in front and inside the den, bopping to a hip hop group performing. Very, very 90s coded. Very like the Far Side, the Lost Boys, but on the West Coast coded. So they talking about staying in school, not having unprotected sex, and I just miss those type of songs when they was promoting sexual health and staying in school and, you know, just the good stuff. We know we had our fair share of getting high and packing Glocks and stuff like that, but we also had the educational songs. So I miss those songs. Even our shows, our cartoons, we had commercials that was educational. We had the DARE program. We had sex education. We just had so many different programs as 80s and 90s babies that was so prevalent and needed and still are to this day. So Kim is dancing and trying to get Hakeem's attention. Mo comes through the floor I said comes through the floor. Mo comes through the door in her fit. She got a fresh fit on, and Kim says, meets her. She's like, yo, what up, Shawshank? I thought you was doing 5 to 10. Mo says, please. They haven't built the stepmother that could keep her on lockdown. Meaning she snuck out. Kim says, well, your man Ohaji asked about you, talking about he was all up on her. Like, girl, how you gonna say my man was all up on you? Anyway, and then Kim asks why she ain't tell her that they had a thing going on. She was like, I thought I was your girl. And Mo says, yeah, you're my girl with a big mouth. So obviously that's the reason why she didn't tell her. And she all trying to come on to her Mo's nigga, like, make it make sense. So anyway, Ohaji starts to perform, and this is what his poem says. I'm the cool, sweet morning under the starlit nights. So black, I think of you. Our love was all that. Yeah, your touch, your scent, your lips of desire make me scream. I scream out loud. Your body's all that. Then Kim says, ooh, Moesha, is he talking about you? Back to the poem. Our love's all that. Our love's all that. I ain't got to sing no more. Thank God. Our passion burns into the depths of my very soul. I'll step in time along love's path. And baby, our world's all that. Yes, our love's all that. Our love's all that. Our love is all that. Then everybody claps and cheers for him. Then he gets off the stage and kisses Madam Fifi. Kim says, you take Coolio because he got the braids. And then she says, I'll take Madam Fifi. Mo pulled her back and says, relax, Tyson, I got this. So she walks over to them and taps him on the back, and he looks shocked. Like, damn, I thought you was on punishment. And Mo says, you must have thought I was stupid too. So then Taylor asks Ohaji, like, what's going on? And Mo said, yeah, I want to know the same. Ohaji says, it's just a big misunderstanding, baby. And Mo says, well, make me understand. Ohaji is silent. And Mo says, yeah, that's what I thought. And walked off. Ohaji stares at her, confused, like he didn't just hurt her feelings. Like, nigga, you know what you just did. Mo comes back in the house. D is waiting up for her. D asks if they could talk. Mo cuts her off, and she said, can we talk tomorrow? And D says she doesn't, she says, can we talk tomorrow because she doesn't feel good. D says, I don't feel good either, and I just want to clear things up. Mo sits down, and D says, Moesha, I'm not your mother. I am not your father, but I am someone you have to respect. And if you ever, then Mo starts crying, and D comforts her. Mo says it's about a stupid boy named Ohaji, and D says, you got good taste because Ohaji is fine. Mo says he's not all that. And he invited her to come to the den, and afterwards, he was going to walk her home. Soon as she showed up, he was kissing on some other girl. How could he do that? I thought he really liked me. Soon as a new girl came along, he forgot all about me. Nobody cares about me. D says, what about Miles? What about her dad? And she said, they don't need me anymore. They got you. So, D says, yeah, they do have me, but I know it's been difficult with me crashing in your life the way I have, but you haven't lost your place. Miles loves you. Your dad loves you. And believe it or not, I love you too. They're family now, and they're going to work it out. They're going to get through it. Mo says, sure, and she turns to go upstairs. Then she turns and asks D if they could keep the Ohaji thing a secret. And she said, you mean I tell your dad? She said, yeah, he don't think I should date until I turn your age. So then they laugh, and then D says, you do know you're grounded, right? Like, D, calm the fuck down. But she probably called Frank and told him, and he said, go ahead, ground her. But ground her for a month? No, that's too much. A week, 2 weeks tops, maybe, but a month? Bitch, you crazy. So Mo is back in her bed, writing in her diary. So she says, I wonder if Ohaji qualifies as her first real love. Yeah, I did feel butterflies. And it's only real love if he feels butterflies too. So she qualifies Ohaji to be her first real jerk. instead of her real love. Then she says, by the way, I guess Hakeem is right about D. She could be okay sometimes, even though she did put me on punishment for a month. Like, girl, please. With the month stuff. And then it's getting late, so she said it's after 1. She got to go to bed so she could beat D downstairs so she can make her dad's favorite turkey sausage omelet. And then she says goodnight. P.S. My zit is gone. And then the show plays the theme song again and the credits appear. Now, I didn't say the theme song, but I'm about to say it now. Love in the morning, a new day is coming, it's me. Now realizing my responsibility, it's me. My best friend's always on my mind. I gotta be down for mine. I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta move on. But yeah, so that's my review of Moesha. I'm sorry if I stuttered and this and did that. I'll try to edit it as best as possible. And I hope that y'all come back for more. Later.